Hey, what's up, guys? This is Coach Tex Rembert, DFW Penguin Basketball, Penguinhoops.com. Hey, guys, before we get started, if you are watching this video, okay, and you feel like any of the information that you're getting from this video is helpful or could help someone else in your family or friend or coworker that has a kid or has a son or daughter that plays youth sports, whether it be basketball, football, baseball, anything, go ahead and share this with them. Also, like the video, it does nothing but help the channel grow. I make these videos for my parents, but if you guys feel like anyone else that you may know could benefit from these videos or from the information on these videos, man, go ahead and share it. Most of the information that's on here, and most of the stuff that I talk about, it may be common knowledge, but to some people it's not. So, guys, today I want to talk about keeping a level head. Your son or daughter, or you may be a rec league coach, or you may have your own program. Keeping a level head in games. Okay. I make this video. I have, guys, I've coached about 6,000, about 6,500 basketball games in the last 12 years. I know it sounds crazy, but me having 10 plus teams all over the place, playing playoff games, playing tournaments and stuff, I've seen almost every single thing that can happen in basketball. Okay, from the parent standpoint, from the kid standpoint, from the coaching standpoint, from the league standpoint, I've seen it all. And most of these experiences that I have, or experiences that a lot of parents see, and I also go through myself, and I feel like I should talk about them. And I went through a couple of experiences this week where I feel like I should talk about them, and it's very, very important. Okay, a lot of times in games, as a player, um, I'll just talk about it from the player standpoint. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you can't control. I tell you guys all the time, in the sport of basketball, basketball is the only sport where a referee can basically completely control the game if they want to. They can call every little foul, or they can let everything go. Um, they basically can change the rules by point of emphasis and all of this stuff and make stuff tight. I mean, with the fouls and foul count and all different types of things, that they can if they let it go, let certain rules go, or they're lenient on rules, it can change the whole flow and outcome of the game. But when you're a kid and you're going through that and you don't know what's going on, it can be really frustrating. If I'm a kid, I've been dribbling the ball a certain way all season. Let's say that the way I dribble the ball kind of looks like a carry, but it's not. And I have a referee during a playoff game. This is just an example. But if I have a referee during a playoff game that's calling my dribble a carry when I've been carrying or whatever, dribbling the same way all season and no other referee has called it, you know, that can be really frustrating. You can get frustrated against the guy that you're playing against. He's roughing you up and the ref isn't calling it. You can, as a player, you can get upset if you're a younger kid, you can get upset with a parent in the stands yelling obscenities at you. It's all different types of stuff. Okay, but today I want to talk about the ways you can keep a level head when stuff like this is happening. Okay, before this is kind of like a prerequisite to these 4 points I want to make. Number one, I'm more of a realist about life. Period. Right. I'm always honest with myself about a lot of things, whether it be basketball, whether it just be anything with work, whether it be me coaching, whether it be losing players, getting new players in the program. I'm always a realist with stuff, and I realize that there are a lot of things you can't control. Okay, but one thing I always do, and it may sound negative, is I expect the worst, but hope for the best. Right? That way, a lot of times you're never disappointed. So if I go into a game, let's say if I'm a player, I'm a sophomore in high school, and we're playing in a championship tournament. Of course, I want to prepare to play the best way I can. But if for some reason I'm just really off shooting the ball today, it is what it is. Of course, I'm going to be upset, but I'm not going to drive it to the point where I want to fight, a guy on the other team, or I get upset with my teammates, or I yell at my coach, or I want to quit the sport altogether. Okay, you can never let anything take you to that point, right? So that's one thing I want you guys to understand. You guys, one of the reasons why I always keep a level head is I always remember that. Okay, I go into games expecting to compete and win, but if it's just something happens, like if my best player just happens to get hurt, or I'm coaching a fourth grade basketball game and this kid just has a tummy ache randomly, and it's a game I want to win, I can't control that. You know, if we shoot 100 shots compared to the other team's 20 shots in a game, and everyone is off, right? If you look at it to where, okay, well, if you get more shots, you got better shooters on your team or better offensive players, and your team gets more shots than the other team, you should win, right? A lot more shots than the other team. I've had that happen a lot of times, and these guys just have bad game shooting, and this is part of it. So, expect the worst, but hope for the best and prepare for the best, if that makes sense. Number one, okay, the real number one is you have to realize that at the end of the day, you may be playing this sport, but it is just a game. It may be more than a game to you, but at the end of the day, it is just a game, right? And that's it. It's a sport. You choose to play a sport. It's not an obligation. If you lose this game, the world doesn't end. Your life doesn't end. Right? Once you realize that, of course you want to compete and play as hard as you can. But at the end of the day, it is just a game. Number two, what do you get from being upset? Right? If you're a player in a game and you getting all upset and you're getting upset at the ref and yelling at the ref and doing all that stuff, the only thing that's going to come from that is negativity. Right? I had one of my guys, one of my seventh grade guys, this referee. This is a funny story. I want to tell you guys, hopefully if you're listening all the way to this point. But I had one of my players in the seventh grade, and we're playing against we're playing against a team where they have a player that mimics his play. So both of them are really fast and really big for their age. Now, one player on the other team, he's going really fast downhill, dribbling the ball, getting layups, getting foul calls for him easily, right? The kid is not getting upset when the calls don't go his way. He's not yelling at the ref. He's not showing his emotion or anything like that of that nature. And he's getting all the benefit from it. Now, one of my players, what he did one time, he was upset, which he had a reason to be. Some of these refs sometimes in games, they don't swap out, so you don't get one ref on a different baseline every other few plays. You get the same ref on the baseline one half. So if you guys understand sports, one ref may call a game totally different than the other ref. So if they're on the same baseline one half, if they're on the same baseline one half for one half of the game, it could be rough for you. So he wasn't getting the calls, and he comes off the sideline. He was like, "Oh, that's some BS," blah, blah, blah. But he said the actual curse word, right? So the referee heard him. Now, I personally know this referee, which is funny. She went to high school with me, and she played basketball. But what's funny is she was a hothead herself, and it still carries over into life, guys. So when he said that, the referee was like, "Hey, you have no right to say that, blah, blah." I was like, "Oh, man, now it's going to go downhill now, because now this referee is going to take it personal." And she did. She fouled him out, and it was 8 minutes left. She knew that he had 4 fouls. It was 8 minutes left to go in the game, and that same play he's been making all game, she called a charge on it, and he was out of there. So what did he get from it? Nothing. What I told him was, the next time you have a situation like this, instead of being upset, go over to the ref after the call, go over to the ref during the timeout, go over to the ref during the break, and ask the ref, "Hey, what am I doing wrong? I want to make sure I don't get any more charges." It's the same thing I do with referees. When I kind of I don't get upset, but I kind of get worried. But a lot of times, instead of me getting upset and yelling at the ref and trying to upstage him and stuff, I'll just go over to the ref and like, hey man, what did you see right there? Like I see this. What do you see? All right. So I mean, getting upset, nothing ends up happening with that. You end up getting technicals. You end up getting a bunch of goofy fouls because you're upset. Those retaliation fouls, and you end up being unfocused. You know, guys. Number three. Okay, it's not a point, but I want to tell you guys a story about myself as a coach. Okay, I had a game yesterday where you know we played a team that we normally beat, and they were kicking our butt. Uh, it was a play happened where one of our players got a charge in the game, right? So I'm looking at the basketball play that happened because all I saw was the contact, and it looked like the kid got a blocking foul, if you know anything about basketball, but the referee called a charge. So I kind of walked over to him after the play and asked the ref, hey, what happened? What happened right there? The ref threw the ball at me underhand really fast at a high velocity and only about 5 or 6 feet away from me. And he was like, he threw the ball at me like this. So basically, he chunked the ball at me, and as a man, it's a little bit different outside of being a coach and a referee situation. It's like, so I had to tell him calmly, like, hey man, don't throw the ball at me. Now, the old me, younger me, coaching, I probably would have blew up and cursed the ref out or got really upset. But at the end of the day, I have to be an example for the kids, right? I can't tell this kid that I just talked about a few seconds ago to keep a level head if I don't, right? And at the end of the day, after me having a discussion with this referee, at the end of the game, we end up losing. But at the end of the game, he came over and apologized, right? Which the referee knew he was wrong. And I know a lot of times referees, their defense mechanism when they make a bad call and they know it's bad is to lash out at the coach for questioning the call, right? But keeping a level head, like I could have easily been thrown out of that game and our guys wouldn't have had a coach, right? And we would have lost for a forfeit because I don't have an assistant coach with a bad coaching badge or something, right? But I had to keep a level head in that point. Even though my manhood was tested, I had to keep a level head for the guys, right? Because nothing positive comes out of you blowing up. Nothing ever comes positive out of that, right? And number four, you know, from the coaching standpoint, even as a player, if you're the best player on your basketball team, okay, and you are acting a certain way, or you're lashing out at players on the other team, or you're lashing out at referees, guess what the other players on the team are going to do? They're going to do the same exact thing. Me as a coach, like we just talked about, if I carry myself a certain way, my players are going to do that. If I'm a calm, cool, collected coach, in certain times when it's needed or when adversity strikes, my guys are going to be that way for the most part. If I was a coach just rowdy, loud, and act like everyone is against me, us against the world type of coach, then my players will act like that as well. So, you know, that's another really important reason to keep a level head is because your teammates will follow, your players will follow, your parents in the stands will follow the way you act. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Guys, if you like this video, you like stuff like this, go ahead and share it, man. Let me know what you guys want to see or hear next from me, man. I am open to suggestions. I understand sports psychology very, very well. And if you have any questions, man, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks.